Les Snead, general manager of the Rams, he said on Peter King's podcast that Aaron Donald, the reigning defensive MVP, was on the verge of being the highest paid defensive player in the league. Snead says it's a top priority right now. Is this the right move to make? We'll start with you, Hassan.
I personally believe it is the right move. Now, I am someone that, NFL players, people say they get paid too much. I see where you're coming from, but if you look at...
I don't.
The amount... I can kind of see it. I think that for Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive players, like I said, defensive MVP last year, there's no other guy that you can find. I look at things like that. So they signed Ndamukong Suh to be alongside him, 1 year, $14 million deal. But other than that, is there anyone else on the market that's just as good as Aaron Donald? Isn't Ndamukong Suh even as good as Aaron Donald? I don't think he is. So if you even look at his production, Aaron Donald hasn't dipped less than 8 sacks every single year that he's been in the league.
He's a sack beast, man.
Yeah, and there's a reason why any team, any running back that plays against Los Angeles is fearful, and that's because of Aaron Donald. They're good against the run. They've been good the past 4 years because of this guy.
Yeah, he's going to attract those double teams. How do you feel about it, Keith?
I think this is a no-brainer for L.A. They absolutely need to sign this kid. It sounds like it might not get done until the summer, maybe, or June or July. This has to happen. Piggyback off Hassan, this is a no-brainer. You don't find talent like this every single day. He's worth every single dollar. It'll be interesting to see what the contract looks like because the Rams really don't have a ton of cap space after the free agent year they just had. I think they only have about $6 million left, so it's probably a lot of this is probably going to be on the back end of the deal, I would have to imagine.
Oh, absolutely, and I mean, Ndamukong Suh was one of their biggest free agent signings, signing him $14 million just for 1 year. He's not going to be back next year.
Oh, yeah, that's $14 million right there. That's probably coming off.
Definitely, and it's just one of those things. They signed him. They signed all these free agents. They brought in all these trades because they believe they can win the Super Bowl. Aaron Donald, for the long run, even if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, years to come, he's going to be a factor in getting them in Super Bowl contention.
Absolutely.
This should be a top priority. I agree with everything you guys are saying. This should be a top priority, but it could work in Aaron Donald's favor if the deal comes next year because there's going to be other deals that fall into place. The money's going up with these pass rushers, so this could really help him out. And Ndamukong Suh, like you said, coming off the books, and this could be a win-now mentality. He might be a little frustrated at 26 years old thinking, I want my money now. But if he waits next year, we're talking about possibly $20 to maybe $22 million a year.
Yeah,
for a guy like this,
absolutely.
easily.
You're talking. Not today's quarterbacks, but a few years ago, you're talking about quarterback money. 65 million guaranteed for a defensive play. Man, I never would have thought I'd see that.
Because that's the hardest thing now is finding guys who could command a double team, guys who can get that upfront pressure. You don't have a lot of guys like that. Disrupt quarterbacks off their cadence because every good quarterback or great quarterback, you run a pass rush, you got a hand in your face, even if it's not a sack, they're going to be inaccurate, throw the ball away, push them down to the ground, also end up in injuries, just throwing them off that cadence and rhythm with the receivers. That's really, really important. Outside of cornerbacks, that too, but they're probably the most important position on the defense is defensive tackle, defensive end. Especially, I like defensive tackle more because it's like that pressure's right in their face.
Edge pass rushers that's a commodity right there.
Yeah, especially on that
edge
blind
pass
side.
Rushers are that's where it's at, man.
Yeah, you see teams like the Redskins, the Cowboys, the Chargers. They're struggling to find their interior linemen.
Yep.
And running backs that go into Washington or Los Angeles or Dallas, they're loving it because they can just run all over these defenses. The Rams, if they want to solidify that, not to be like these teams, they got to sign Aaron Donald.
No doubt about it.
Exactly, long term. And it's always good to get that money when 26, 27. That's a great age to get that contract. That's what Le'Veon Bell